I'll wrap up here with just a look here where we're expecting some of those heavier snowfall rates as we get through the rest of the day today. So this is hourly snowfall rates. So anywhere between a quarter to a half an inch of snow per hour through about dinner time, and then we'll start to see those snow showers kind of tapering off. So that's some good news there. Hopefully those plow truck drivers are going to have a chance to clear the roadways before that morning commute tomorrow. But really not just dealing with that snow, but also dealing with those cold temperatures. So really, even as the snow moves out, we're not quite in the clear just yet. Davis, what are we looking at there?
Well, we've got a number of snow emergencies across Ohio, and you and I, we've really been tracking this all morning long, kind of seeing just how quickly some of these snow emergencies have come in. And looking at a question from Kayla, she was asking about the snow emergency. So I want to give you just a quick preview. This is what we have so far. In this orange color, that is actually a level 2 snow emergency. So that means roadways are very hazardous and you should only be out unless you absolutely have to. You can see this covers most of the viewing area. Now, areas that are shaded in red, those are actually level 3 snow emergencies, meaning roadways are closed to non-emergency personnel. You could face the risk of citation if you're out on the roadways and you're not supposed to. So we've got those issued for Seneca, Wyandotte, and as well as over into Defiance counties. So very quickly, in a very short amount of time, we saw counties quickly add on to become a level 2 snow emergency, and then some of those that were already level 2 snow emergencies going to a level 3, just shutting roadways down entirely because of some of that more intense snowfall that has moved on in. Keep in mind too, we still have several hours of this that we're going to be dealing with, and I do want to pull up our hour by hour just to give you an idea kind of what we are expecting. So this paints a picture at about noon here, so coming up very shortly. As we go into the afternoon hours, you're going to notice we're still seeing those snow showers staying with us, even varying in intensity where we see some of these brighter or darker colors. That's going to represent some of those higher snowfall rates that Heather was talking about as when we start to get into the quarter to a half inch rate per hour. That can really cause some challenging conditions across Northwest Ohio. And then once we get into later on tonight, after the sun sets, that's when we'll start to see those snow showers starting to come to an end by about 7 or 8 o'clock. But keep in mind, this is a lot of snow that we are receiving in a very short amount of time, all in one day. So we're going to be hanging on to this for quite some time. In fact, temperatures are going to be very chilly tomorrow, not looking to warm above freezing, at least for much of the next 7 to 10 days in the extended forecast. We're going to be holding on to this snow, and tomorrow I think there could be some problem spots for people that are heading out. Now I want to show you 2 different snow maps here. This is additional snowfall on top of what we already have out there right now. So we're going to kind of track this out here as we go to about 2 o'clock. Notice most areas still picking up about 1 to 2 inches of additional snowfall, but when it's all said and done later on tonight, ultimately going to see about another 3 to maybe 4 inches of additional snowfall on top of what's already out there right now. Now, if we kind of look at all the snowfall together, we're still holding true with this snowfall map here with those heavier totals found further south and east. That's going to include communities of Sandusky, Norwalk, Tiffin, Upper Sandusky, Findlay, and back towards Ottawa. 8 to 12 inches total snowfall expected, even a nice swath of 7 to 10 inches expected from areas near Ottawa County back through Lucas. That includes the Toledo Metro, Bowling Green, Henry County, Wauseon, Bryan, and Defiance. And then some of those lighter amounts will be found further off to the north and west. That's going to include Monroe, Lenawee, and Hillsdale counties, where we're seeing 5 to 8 inches of total snowfall. So really just an impressive winter storm that we've been seeing. Heather, I want to check in with you. See, are you seeing anything with traffic? I know we've gotten some of those snow emergencies coming in over the last couple of bits, and it looks like, wow, that camera is really covered up there.
Yeah, we still we have really reduced visibility out there this morning, and it's the wind, it's the cold, it's the visibility, and of course all of that snow we're really dealing with right now. And Talking about the wind chill here for a second, Davis, really seeing those feels like temperatures just within a couple of degrees of zero, whether it's 1 degree or -1 degree. So taking a quick look at those wind chills. So if you're maybe trying to get out ahead of the end of that storm, trying to clear some snow out of the way, maybe bundling up is certainly going to be the thing, not only just with the snow boots, but really making sure that you're prepared for that cold air that we've got in place. So this is at 2 o'clock this afternoon as we kind of move that through into this afternoon and evening, seeing that wind chill again within a few degrees of zero here in Toledo, but off toward the west as things clear out. Really getting into that Arctic feel and all the way through into tomorrow morning. So maybe the kids are thinking that they're going to be heading to school tomorrow morning. If they are at 8 a.m., this is what they're going to be dealing with if they're standing out at the bus stop. -10 to 15 degrees for those wind chills. So again, even when the snow does clear today, we're going to be dealing with a lot of that really wintry feel. Let's get back to where things stand right now here. Doppler radar showing that heavier snow, again, mainly to the east of Toledo, but we are still tracking some of those heavier bands back toward the Indiana line, starting to stretch into Bryan and Wauseon. So taking a closer look there, really seeing some of those heavier snow bands moving in from the west. We're going to continue to track that. That will increase those snowfall rates as we get through the next few hours. So as Davis mentioned, maybe another 6 to 7 hours of snowfall here in northwest Ohio and southeast Michigan before all is said and done. So we'll get this looping again for you here just to kind of show you how things stand. Of course, this is not the overall view of that storm system, but just kind of what's around the state of Ohio as we are getting through the morning hours and into the early afternoon. So we'll take a closer look here, kind of a different view of that storm system, all of that snowfall. And you can really see here looking all the way back to the west. So we've got, again, some of those heavier snow bands back toward Indiana, but then even farther back stretching all the way down to St. Louis and beyond, seeing some of that snow starting to fill in some of those dry air pockets. So that's what's really going to keep feeding that snowfall throughout the rest of the day today. So if you're looking back toward Chicago thinking, well, it looks like it's lightening up a bit, we're going to continue to see that snow kind of filling in there. So those heavier snowfall rates and then some of those breezier conditions. I wouldn't really call them gusty winds, but we do have some of that wind blowing the snow around. So even if we don't have the snow actively falling, that's still something that we're going to be tracking through the day today. Current visibilities around the area, anywhere between a half of a mile to about a mile of visibility. And then back toward the east, you can see there Fremont, Tiffin, Norwalk, Upper Sandusky, seeing some of those reduced visibilities there as well. So again, snow-covered roadways, reduced visibilities, certainly going to be making travel very difficult for us during the daytime hours for today. And again, make sure you're keeping up with us on our website, on our social media accounts, because we are keeping those snow emergencies up to date for you. And again, keep in mind, Upper Sandusky and Tiffin, you're within those counties that are under those level 3 snow emergencies. And this is just part of that story there where we've got those reduced visibilities. Davis?
Yeah, and you know, people have been asking too online with that, as you mentioned, breezier conditions, not necessarily gusty, but does it necessarily qualify as a blizzard, right? And I think with this being on the anniversary of, very close to the anniversary of the blizzard of 78, people are wondering, are we gonna have a blizzard? Well, in order for it to be classified as a blizzard, you have to have wind gusts over 35 miles an hour and visibility reduced down to a quarter mile for at least 3 hours. And we are not going to get to that point. At this point, it's just an impactful winter storm. And again, we're going to see this continue for the rest of Sunday, really for the next, I would say, 7 to 8 hours at least. And we're going to be dealing with that heavy snow. And we have already seen some difficult travel for this morning. And we still have many hours to go with this. Now, keep in mind, if you, thankfully, at least it's a Sunday, right? It could be a work day, and there could be a day where more people are typically out and about. This at least impacted the area earlier in the day, so a lot of people were already home. If you are able to, staying home is not a bad idea. It keeps less people out off of the roads and allows those crews to continue to work on the roads that are already a bit challenging and in some instances even outpacing the plowing and the salting that they're doing. But definitely going to be needing snow blowers as well. Keeping those paths clear as well for those that maybe do not get the day off. It would be like our mailmen and everyone that's your first responders, just kind of trying to keep things kind of cleaned up for them, especially during very blustery conditions, I think, to say the least. I do want to point out, at least with the WTOL 11 weather app, myself and meteorologist Heather Poloff, we've been updating that multiple times so far today, kind of talking about the conditions, what we've been seeing coming in, the latest, updating the forecast as well. It's also a great resource, though, too, because it was actually recently just updated, and now you can actually see road conditions in there with all of the ODOT cameras, which is a fantastic feature, especially on a day like today where we're seeing those blustery conditions. But it's also a great resource too if you have any photos or videos and things like that that you want to share with us. You can actually submit them that way, and then you could even see your picture shared on social media and even right here on air during our extended coverage that we like to do. I do want to check and see if we've got any questions from viewers, just to see.
We have the traffic map pulled up so we can talk about some traffic impacts.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, I am seeing one accident, and this one is out in Williams County, actually on the Turnpike, as we zoom in here and see that. The good news is not really looking like it's impacting traffic too much, at least any more than the snow itself is actually impacting things out there, but we do have that accident again. That's on westbound Turnpike right there near exit 13. So if you are traveling in that direction, we do have that one traffic impact there. And again, just kind of seeing things around Northwest Ohio, Southeast Michigan, we've got those reduced visibilities and reduced speeds out there too. So this is another look. This is at the 75-475 split here in Toledo. We also have some slower speeds there on the ramps from I-75 and I-280 there near the Jeep plant. And then looking farther south there, we've got I-75 on the bridge, the DeSalle Bridge there, crossing the Maumee River just north of Hollywood Casino. Seeing those reduced speeds in both directions there. So the good news in most of these areas, we're not seeing any reported accidents. Again, if you are going to be heading out, if you do have anywhere you have to go today, whether it's work or somewhere else, just make sure that you are giving yourself lots and lots of extra time. Again, with the breeze and that very light, fluffy snow out there, we want to make sure that we're taking our time out on the roadways, making sure that you're not dealing with any issues there. So, Davis, how are the snow emergencies looking?
Well, we still have many level 2. In fact, all of our counties right now are under at least a level 2 snow emergency, even a few counties as a level 3, meaning that those roads are closed to non-emergency personnel. I'm going to step off the screen here just for a second so you can see a full screen what these images look like, or at least which counties are included. Again, level 2 snow emergency for Williams, Fulton, Lucas, Henry, Putnam, Wood, Hancock, Ottawa, Sandusky, Erie, and Huron counties. That means that those roads they're not just slightly hazardous, they're pretty challenging, and you should ultimately not be out unless you absolutely have to be. Then the exception as we head into level 3 snow emergencies, that's going to be for Defiance, Seneca, and Wyandotte counties. Those roads are closed. And I can imagine, especially with those being more rural areas, probably seeing some blowing and drifting there with those roads becoming even pretty challenging to cross, even after those snow plows and road crews make their way through there. And that can really create some troubling spots, even sometimes snow drifts too. And I know if you're driving out in a rural area, I know there's a couple different roads in Wood County. As you're going down the road, you've got those ditches on the side. And when you're dealing with that blowing and drifting, it's hard to sometimes differentiate where the road is. And you don't want to take the chance of, driving into a ditch, right? No, that's the last thing anybody wants to happen.
Absolutely. Well, I know that we've also had a lot of church cancellations today, obviously with it being Sunday morning. That's kind of one of those bigger draws for people to go out onto the out onto the roadways there. So we have a full list of that on our website, so certainly something you want to check out there. If we want to get another live look outside there, we've got the Anthony Wayne Trail camera up here. And even down toward Perrysburg as well. Now, the good news with this camera is that we've kind of seen that visibility kind of ebbing and flowing with sometimes we get those heavier snow bands, can't see much out there, but traffic looks like it's doing okay out there on 75, 475 here, not far from Levis Commons. So again, we are tracking those. I haven't seen any updates on any of the snow emergencies at this point, so we still have those 3 counties anyway under a level 3 snow emergency, but the entire area, Northwest Ohio, at least under a level 2 snow emergency, if not greater than that. So we'll keep that list updated on our website. Again, you can also check out all of those church cancellations. I don't believe we've gotten any school closures or delays for tomorrow just yet. Probably a little too soon to be seeing any of those rolling in. And again, the good news with some of that timing on the snowfall, expecting to see that tapering off later tonight and into the overnight hours. So that should give crews enough time to get things sort of cleared out on the roadways. But again, if things stay a little breezy and then with those very cold temperatures expected to settle in, that'll certainly play a role in making things maybe a little more difficult for some of those plow drivers out on the roadways. So
yeah,
Davis,
I wanted to pull up too. I know you mentioned about schools, not necessarily seeing anything like that, but we have actually had a few businesses close today. Franklin Park Mall, they have gone ahead and closed down for the day. Imagination Station, they are also closed. Just kind of taking a look through the list that we have on WTOL.com. Pretty extensive list, mostly church services that have been impacted, but I'm seeing a couple different libraries that are closed. And I think, ultimately, probably not the worst decision to close down. I mean, this is what it looks like out right now, right? You're not seeing a whole lot. Then this is looking out over the Maumee, but again, you're not seeing a whole lot in front of you. So conditions are just really not favorable today for a lot of people to be heading out.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of restaurants saying that they were closed as well, letting their staff stay home, not, expecting them to go out, probably expecting some slower business today as a lot of people are staying home. So that's certainly something that we've seen across social media. So really, seeing people heeding those warnings, which is great. That's what you want to see when you see the sheriff's office saying, hey, if you don't have to be out there, don't go. But obviously, in emergency situations or something, you have to be out on the roadway. The fewer people, like you've been saying all morning, Davis, the fewer people out on the roadways, the better for sure.
Absolutely. And you know what? It's a great day to just stay inside, maybe catch up on I know I said this yesterday, but like Netflix or Hulu.
There you go.
Any of those shows, or if you've got any housework that needs done, a great time just to kind of stay inside, because we still have plenty of snow coming. We've got the snow that's obviously overhead right now, and I know, Heather, you pointed out this dry pocket right here. Now, this is likely going to be moving overhead. It may give us a brief break here in Northwest Ohio, but you notice on the back side of it here, just past St. Louis, that it's generally tracking up this general direction. Here in Northwest Ohio, we're probably going to see that. That's going to be like the last little burst of snow that we'll be dealing with later on tonight. But again, we're still seeing some very intense snow bands here. We are entirely on the cold side with this, so that means we're going to be staying in snow. We're not going to see any sort of freezing rain. We're not going to see any sleet. It's very clear to us that it's all going to be snow. Now, areas further down to the south, I mean, look at this. This is talk about a forecast down here in Kentucky, even down through Tennessee, West Virginia. Lots of freezing rain, sleet, plain rain. You've got heavy snow. You've got it all down there, and that's really dangerous too, especially for those areas that don't typically see those kinds of impacts. It could be dealing with some of those power outages as well. But for us here, I would not anticipate power outages being any sort of major impact. We're not going to be really dealing with that ice. Maybe the one exception would be as if some sort of power pole were to be hit by a vehicle. That would probably be the greatest impact. impact for power outages, but I don't anticipate too many impacts beyond that, and just the roads being less than ideal trying to navigate those.
Yeah, and going out this morning, it really seemed like we've had a number of inches of snow already fall. So, I mean, probably like maybe a good 4 or 5 inches just here in the metro area.
At least, yeah. I know when I came into work early this morning at about 3:34, I want to say that there was at least 2 to 3 inches of snow on the ground, and I truthfully have not stepped outside just yet, so I'm a little worried to see what I'm walking out to. My car is probably completely covered and will definitely need to be started up early just to try and melt some of that off.
Absolutely, yeah. My husband sent me a picture from our backyard. We just live over in Oregon, and I would say probably a good like 4 or 5 inches of snow has fallen so far. And we've continued to track that forecast, and the really nice thing about this is that now the snow has fallen, at least some of it has. We're on track for that forecast of about 7 to 10 inches of snow here in the metro area. So this is still where the thinking is as far as how much snow we're anticipating from this system when all is said and done. So this does include the snow that has already fallen in the overnight hours and early this morning. So expecting again between 7 and 10 inches of snow. And again, when you combine that with a breeze of 15 to 20 miles an hour, the snow that's falling this morning is very powdery. It's that very light snowfall. But again, it doesn't really take much to kind of blow that around. That's why you're seeing a lot of those roadways out there continue to be covered by that snow. Even though we've seen those plow truck drivers out there, we've seen them treating those roadways, and again, the roads are going to take quite a while for us to get things back to normal as far as getting people back up to the speed limits and really not needing that extra time. So until then, you're not only needing that extra time to actually clean off your car, but then to get where you need to go out there. So Davis, any questions coming in from the feed or anything?
I haven't seen too many. I know a lot of people were asking about, I think a lot of people keep talking about those snow emergencies, right? We've got a complete list of those on our website, also available too in our WTOL 11 weather app. You can access those. Obviously, a lot of changing conditions with the snow that's pushing on in. Even that slight breeze that's out there, that will cause some blowing and drifting, because you may have noticed the snow, it's not very wet and heavy, not very good snowball snow per se, but it's going to be more of that fluffy, powdery snow that just kind of blows all over the place, and it can create some travel concerns, that's for sure. We're not going to really be dealing with ice a ton, but it's going to be more of still just a lot of snow on roads. So if you have not already done so already, suggest downloading the WTOL 11 weather app. You can scan that QR code on the screen. If for whatever reason that QR code is not working, just go into your mobile app store and search WTOL 11 weather. It's an excellent resource. You can see those road conditions as those have been quickly evolving for today. You got interactive radar, there's 10-day forecast, hourly forecast. You get video updates directly sent from us. So in between newscasts, you can continue to get the latest on that. But it's obviously, this has been a very impactful storm. And I think we're gonna start to get ready to kind of wrap up, unless Heather, if you have any last minute things that you've noticed that come in over the last little bit, or we're still seeing the snow covered roads. It just still does not look great out there.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough travel day for sure, no matter what you're gonna be doing out there. So those snow emergencies, again, as Davis mentioned, we're gonna be keeping those updated all day long. We've got a map up on our website here, and then we also have that for you. Still seeing level 2 snow emergencies for everyone across the area except Defiance, Seneca, and Wyandotte counties. Again, those are at level 3 snow emergencies, so that means that those roadways are closed to any non-emergency personnel. You're asked to stay home unless there is some kind of emergency that puts you out on those roadways. So again, expecting that snowfall to last through most of the day today, Davis.
Yeah, at least I would say through about 6 to 8 o'clock or so later on tonight. So we're going to continue to keep a close eye on things here at WTOL 11. Of course, you can download the WTOL 11 weather app. We'll continue to have information feeding in through there. You can get additional info through WTOL 11 Plus on Apple TV, Fire TV, and Roku. So we're a lot of different resources to be able to get that information. So we're gonna stay with you you guys just for a little bit longer. We just want to see if there's maybe any last minute questions that we have for us. Let's see if, see a lot of people mentioning most are at level 2 snow emergencies. And which is true. In fact, all of our counties across Northwest Ohio are currently under that level 2 snow emergency, but there are a few level 3s out there, and that just means roadways are closed entirely, right? So not for non-emergency personnel. You have to stay off the road. That definitely dangerous situation there too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And when you do get those sheriff's offices saying, "Hey, level 3, stay off the roadways," I mean, that's for your safety. That's also for the safety of those first responders, because with all of that snow that's coming down, it's tough for you to drive at the speed limit. It's also tough for them to get where they need to go. So all around, it's a good day to kind of wait and see kind of how things materialize for us throughout the day today. But yeah, looking live outside, so we've got this view outside the window down in Perrysburg, also looking around at all of those cameras all over the viewing area, and just seeing really tough driving conditions out there. And that's part of the reason too, Davis, those wind gusts.
Yeah, there's a lot of people were asking, what are the wind gusts going to do during the overnight hours? So I do want to bring that in. Of course, this is an interactive session. People are asking questions about what we can expect to see. So we will run through this just to show you here. Still seeing those wind gusts as we head into the evening hours, up to about 25 miles an hour. Again, not a significant wind. I feel like we've dealt with stronger winds, at least over the last couple of weeks, where you have those gusts up to 50, even 60 miles an hour.
Can you imagine? Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. It would be a nightmare if we had to deal with that.
It would be a very different kind of day today.
I think there would probably be a few blizzard warnings issued if that was the case, but that is not what we're looking at for tonight. We're going to continue to see those gusts at least maybe up to 20 miles an hour as we head into tomorrow. But as you mentioned, Heather, that you said that the wind chills are going to be a bit of concern for tomorrow. So if those kiddos are heading out the door, they're going to want to make sure that they bundle up and they've got those plenty of warm layers if schools are not impacted. It's going to be a chilly morning for those that are planning on heading on out.
Yeah, and if you're planning, if you're looking at the rest of your Sunday saying, okay, when is the snow going to clear out? When can I start getting out and actually shoveling the sidewalk or anything like that? We can talk about those snowfall rates throughout the day today. So we're kind of seeing a little bit of a lull in the snow right now, at least in the metro area to the east of I-75, still seeing that moderate to heavy snowfall out there. But let's take a look at some of those graphics here. Snowfall rates, expecting those to continue to climb a little bit as we get into lunchtime today, maybe a little bit heavier snow bands into the early afternoon hours. And then right around dinner time, things are going to slowly start to improve as that heavier snow moves off toward the east. So again, as we're kind of on the northern edge of this particular system, we're not seeing the snowfall rates as what they're seeing down in, say, central and southern Ohio, where you've got those very heavy wet flakes. They're also closer to some of that warmer air down that direction. So
kind of saturates some of those snowflakes a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. But we still have, that very heavy snowfall rate in terms of anywhere between 1/4 to 1/2 inch an hour at some points today. So that's what's really going to continue to let that snowfall kind of pile up. But then again, towards sunset and kind of beyond that into this evening, we're going to see things taper off. And that's kind of when you might be able to get out there and maybe crank up the snow blower, get the shovel ready. I don't think it's that kind of snow where it's heavy. That's some good news there too.
Yeah.
If you got to shovel it, it's not going to be too hard on your body.
It's definitely going to be a lot easier, less strain compared to that heavy wet snow is just terrible. It really adds a lot of weight to that snow. But as you mentioned, that type of snow, that's going to be further down here towards some of those where we're dealing more with that rain transition line down here. Up here, no, it's much colder, and it's gonna be that fluffy type snow. So it should be pretty easy to get rid of. If maybe the snow blower, if you haven't used it yet this year, maybe a great opportunity to, if you want to just be that person in the neighborhood to bust it out and be like, yep, I took care of that super quick. But a snow shovel will also work too, because of how light it will be. I do want to point out, I know some people are are asking about snow emergencies in regard to, is my county going to go to a level 3? To answer that, we don't know. And the reason why we don't know is because that's not something that is ultimately decided by us. We are simply the messenger, but these decisions come in from a number of officials, usually the sheriff within the office, but they're partnering with different crews and what their crews are seeing, like ODOT, out on the roadways, a number of accidents, things like that. That really kind of goes into making that decision, because you got to remember, especially if you're talking Lucas County, hypothetically, if they were to do that, I mean, there's nearly 500,000 people that live in this county, so that you're telling nearly 500,000 people, you probably should not be out.
Yeah, there's a lot to balance with those decisions.
It's not an easy decision, right? Where maybe you have counties that are out here a little bit more rural. Lucas County is a big area, and so I know that the sheriff is certainly making sure that everyone's safety is at mind. But I mean, I think a level 2 really still drives home the point, hey, roads are hazardous, and you don't need to be out necessarily if you don't have to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the other thing about Lucas County too, is that, we have a very urban area here in the city, but then you go out toward the lake shore, you get a lot of, that wind that comes off the lake typically this time of year. You go out to the western part of Lucas County, you've got a lot of rural areas that are wide open. And so those are certainly things that are taken into account, not only for those snow emergencies, but for us when we forecast as well. You're forecasting for a county that has so many different areas that have that topography and kind of all of those different factors in place. So that's certainly something that plays into not only the snow emergencies, but even when we talk about how much snow we're actually expecting from a system like this.
Yeah, I'll tell you, and it's been a while since we've had a system to this magnitude too. The last time, I believe meteorologist John Burishfield, he was looking at the numbers, it was back in 2022, so it's been nearly 4 years since we have seen a storm of this magnitude. And it is winter, right? We're gonna deal with snow. We're pretty used to it, but this much snow, it's been a little bit. So maybe we're just having to kind of
we got to get reacclimated to it.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely. I mean, it looks like an Arctic tundra out there on that camera behind you. It doesn't look enjoyable. It's chilly. It's cold. But we've been continuing to keep an eye on this throughout really all morning. If you want, I think what maybe we can do, unless you have anything new, I think we'll actually start to wrap up our coverage.
Yeah,
here.
we can wrap it up.
Sure. Let me pull up our WTOL 11 weather app. Again, an excellent resource to have during a time like this when we've got so much snow coming in. You don't necessarily know what's going on out on the roadways per se. But here's this QR code. Use your phone, scan this QR code. It should take you right to the WTOL 11 weather app. If you don't have it or the QR code doesn't work, just go in your mobile app store. You can search it, but it's going to get you those road conditions, interactive radar, 10-day forecast. I've also added earlier a list of all the snow emergencies. So you should be able to see all those active snow emergencies. That list is constantly being updated by our incredible digital team that we have here. There are a lot of people working behind the scenes also to make sure that you all are getting the information that you need to stay informed. But there's things that we're also doing behind the scenes too, and this is one of those avenues here to get your information. With that being said, we are going to start to wrap up our extended coverage. We will have some additional streams later on tonight. Of course, you can always tune in through WTOL 11 Plus, and our social media platforms, also a great resource as well. But for meteorologist Heather Poloff and myself, everyone have a safe evening and stay warm.